Yes, I have. Have I ever felt average? Probably always.
When I was applying to college, I felt pretty average in comparison to all the other applicants.
I do feel pressured to be above average. I don't know if that's just the nature of my upbringing.
My scores were average, my extracurriculars were average, my work experience was average.
My parents set me to a high expectation. You know, I have to repay them for raising me and being a person.
I always feel like I'm not doing enough, and I feel guilty when I'm not doing anything.
It's always a competition with the people around you, so you have to be better than those that you're competing against.
Does social media influence me feeling average? Absolutely.
Oh, I hate social media. That's the PSA. That is the true gag.
I feel like you're getting an idealized version of other people's lives.
Social media is so bad. I try it, I feel bad about myself, I feel average, I feel less than average.
So it's very easy for you to compare your reality with the curated version of their life.
And honestly, social media is the problem.
You see images of people that portray themselves a certain way in the best possible light.
I compare myself to a body standard that's been made for women, especially people who are not of color.
You're expected to work at this high level all the time.
I guess in style or in academic performance or how many things people appear to get done in their day.
People around me seem to all have their shit kind of figured out, and they seem like they know where they want to go in life.
Currently what's motivating me is I'm in debt.
My motivation used to be my grades. And then it all kind of fell apart when I realized that they actually mean nothing.
I feel like it hinders us because we're so caught up in the comparison to other people that we are not able to achieve just based on our own self-worth.
It's all comparison.
Welcome to the schooling system. Public education has its roots in the Industrial Revolution. The massive explosion of production within the U.S. moved families away from farming and toward manufacturing. Public schools provided a space for children to stay while parents worked, imposing students to stay disciplined, obedient, focus on memorization, solving problems linearly, and rarely emphasizing creativity in the individual sense. You sit still, speak when spoken to, the bell rings, and you move on to the next class. We are taught that success is playing the game and being the best. But what is an A really worth? Standardizing intelligence standardizes value, validity, and worth. The C is considered average. Understanding 70% of material is considered average. But even anything under 100% is seen as a failure. How are children expected to separate their school life from their identity? The competition and comparison is intrinsic. GPAs are meant to compare, they're meant to show our drive, our motivation, our dedication, our privilege, and our ability to finesse the game. Think back to every average girl you've seen in the rom-coms who identify as not interesting, or not attractive, or just plain average. These people generally have a lot of intrinsic redeeming qualities, but self-identify as useless because they don't feel that they fit to a social narrative that deems them worthful. However, at the end of the film, they somehow end up overcoming this average feeling and recognizing that they are the authors of their own self-worth. A study in the Psychology of Women's Quarterly explored college women's ideas regarding how their lives would change if their appearance were consistent with the media-supported female beauty ideal. The study resulted in showing that young women had internalized media ideals regarding appearance and in turn linked those ideals with a positive livelihood. In addition, this phenomenon is consistent with all people as Eurocentric beauty ideals transcend gender. Colorism, a symptom of Eurocentric beauty standards, runs rampant through all sorts of societies, allowing many groups of people to feel unattractive and underrepresented in media. Think about it. Capitalism, in conjunction with media, has a way of commodifying your insecurities by making you feel average and less attractive, much like the characters in these films do, when really, Eurocentric beauty standards are the real culprit, not your self-worth. Social media can perpetuate this worthless feeling as well by having you engage in real-time, constant comparison. Social media is set up to where information and interaction are coming in at high volumes as opposed to in moderation. In fact, there is no limit. According to the National Center for Biotechnology Information, many people don't know it, but they use social media as a space for social comparison and feedback seeking. This can easily become highly addictive and problematic, and ultimately allows one to feel, well, average. It is important to recognize our feelings of inadequacy and worthlessness as problems rooted in a larger system. Capitalism punishes us for not being productive enough, smart enough, or efficient enough, because when we fail to be these things, we fail to provide for an oppressive system. It upholds this oppression further by creating an ideal beauty, personhood standard that is impossible for most folks to reach, so that we must buy products and support media in order to attain and validate this standard. Once we are able to recognize that our identity should not be intrinsically tied with our potential monetary value, we can accept our own validity outside of a capitalistic system, embrace our uniqueness and worth that comes with simply being alive. This doesn't discredit the stresses that come with the daily life, but instead provides perspective and a framework through which we can recognize the ways in which this system hurts everyone and the ways we can combat it. You are worthless, but that's okay. You know you're gorgeous, right?
Stop.